What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you guys doing on this epic Friday? Happy Friday, by the way, and welcome to another exciting episode of Talk Inside the Ring, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, I am back, and it has been a long time since I have made an episode about Talk Inside the Ring. The last one I believe I did was either talking about when AJ Styles came over to the WWE from New Japan Pro Wrestling, or when Sting was going to make his WWE debut. I don't know. It's been quite a while since I've made one of these episodes. But, like where AEW... the new company that, as Macho Man Randy Savage would say, the cream will rise to the top. AEW has risen to the top. They are competing with WWE. Now, we're getting the Wednesday Night Wars instead of the Monday Night Wars with AEW versus NXT. And AEW's only been around for like a year or two, and we're already in the talks of getting an AEW Pro Wrestling game. And so I was thinking, you know what? Now is probably the perfect opportunity to talk about wrestling games. What makes them good? And where did they go? What makes them purchasable now versus what made them purchasable back then? Where are the good ones now? And where did they go? And where have they pretty much gone? So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, wrestling games. Me and wrestling games. Now, the very first wrestling game I ever played was WCW Nitro. And like when I was a kid, I really wasn't allowed to have anything involved with wrestling. So I was like, oh, this is like something I'm not really supposed to do. I'm a rebel. But I played WCW Nitro and WCW Thunder. I couldn't do anything in those games, and I thought it was maybe it's just I'm not good at them. No, it's because the games were awful. I remember playing those games, and I had so much fun. And then we got the Nintendo 64, and I remember my buddy Josh Matney and Adam Stiltner, both kids from my childhood, had wrestling games. My buddy Josh Matney had Warzone, and he also had, I believe he had No Mercy, but I definitely know he had WWF 2000. Me and him played hours on that game, whenever it was snowing, like we had possibility of a snow day, he'd be like, hey Nick, let's go play WWF 2000, or I'd be like, hey, can we go play WWF? And he's like, yeah. It's like me and him would be playing for hours and hours, and it was so much fun. And then when the PS2 came out, SmackDown vs. Raw came out. Oh, when that game came out, I played the absolute massacre out of that game. And I know that's not proper grammar. I played that game so much, from unlocking everything, playing the story, buying everything, to literally restarting a new file to do it all over again. SmackDown vs. Raw was infectious. I was addicted to that game. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 came out. Another great game. 2007, 2008. Then, the other ones. 2011 was a really good one that, each new game, was very inventive with what they did. And then came WWE 12. I hated it. WWE 13. I freaking loved it. Then, when WWE got picked up by 2K, I was like, okay, that'll be interesting. WWE 2K14 was probably one of the last great wrestling games I ever played. Then we got WWE 2K15. I had a little bit of fun with 16. I never played 17. I've not played 18. 19 I played. I didn't keep it for very long, and I sold it. And another wrestling game that I loved to death, was because I was such a fan of Impact, was TNA Impact Wrestling, the video game. Now, even though that game was not that good, and it was actually missing a lot of stuff that was supposed to be in the game, I still played it because it was something different. And now, here comes the big question. Are wrestling games still worth buying? What is it that makes wrestling games fun now versus to what made them fun back then? Why is it that I could pick up a controller on a PS2 or a GameCube, or even I want a Nintendo 64? What made it to where I could pick up and play just for hours and hours on end, versus nowadays, if I pick up a copy of WWE 2K19 or 16 or 18, if I had a PS3, I would love to get back 13 and 14. But the question is, why is it that I prefer the ones from the olden days versus the ones that we have now? When the AEW wrestling game comes out, not only, the question isn't am I going to buy it, because I am, but will I keep it? What is it that makes wrestling games nowadays keepable? What makes you want to keep playing them over and over? Was it kind of like the fact that maybe they felt like an arcade? Or was some people prefer it to be actual sport-wise? Now, one of the things I loved about the TNA game was you could literally reverse everything. That made it so much more realistic, instead of you can't reverse certain things, I liked how TNA did that. And now with the new games, you have this reverse mirror. They've made it so much more realistic. And here's the thing, is having the games be so realistic a bad thing? Is having the games like being such a mirror match of what's going on in pro wrestling, does that take the fun out of it? Now, it may just be I get tired of repetition, and that's just what doesn't make it fun anymore. But something back when I was a kid, or like when I was a teenager, or I just have, for some reason, I was playing SmackDown Shut Your Mouth like almost a year and a half ago, and I sat down and I played that sucker for 4 hours straight. I played as Jeff Hardy. Like, I went around the arena like trying to become champion. Like, I had so much fun playing the older games, and that's like the question, like, what made the older games so much more fun to play versus what makes the newer games not as much fun to play? I really want to know. I am so psyched for the AEW wrestling game because AEW is something new, and maybe that's honestly why I like AEW and Ring of Honor and New Japan versus other wrestling companies, you know? But I have high hopes, and pick up and Fire Pro Wrestling World. That was another game that I actually did enjoy a little bit. It was a bit of a learning curve, but I eventually got onto it, and it was enjoyable. Guys, I really want to know, what do you think about pro wrestling games nowadays? Are you going to pick up the AEW wrestling game? I know I certainly am. I honestly want your guys' opinions. Do you guys have more fun playing the newer, more stylized, fresh games, or do you always prefer going back to playing the SmackDown vs. Raw series, or the SmackDown series, or even the Days of Reckoning series, which I actually did play the second one on GameCube, and I had a blast. I really want to know, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. Share this video with your wrestling friends or your wrestling enemies. Make your wrestling enemies feel like they need to put you over. Make the heels pay for why you just watched something so awesome. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you next time. Stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.